Hi. This is not glamour anymore. Look at my clothes. I wear rags. You know what's going on with me, right? I made it clear. My face is always broke out. I'm going to try to do my hair tomorrow. If I can do my hair and I can do my nails, I'm literally going to put that on the calendar. Every day consists of what can I do to maintain an even kill in order to survive this and stay alive. That is war. That is what I've been telling everybody, but they can't understand that here. And I understand why. It took me 3 years, but I clearly see why now. They're not going to hear that here. In fact, half of them, the population of the US, is part of the problem. And half of that population, easily, are actively involved in why we are at war. So forget it. But I will put it on my calendar when I can do my hair and my nails. It's light brown, so that's good, right? It bleaches fast and it blends in, so it's not like a big deal. But my self-esteem, yeah. I wear rags. Remember this shirt? I had it for like a year or two. I just cut it, I reused it. I kind of like that because I have like massive punk rock roots. I'm very punk rock in my heart and soul. But after a certain point, being a woman, I don't want to wear rags. And I want to buy panties. I want to do my nails. I want to wear makeup. I want to wear earrings. I want to do my hair. I curled my hair one time when I came to DC. When I first got here, it looked really pretty that day. I looked nice. I went and enjoyed the institutions and the museums that DC has to offer. It's all smoke and mirrors, we know. And I've been here a year. One thing I have noticed, and it has never gotten better, it has never improved. This is why I'm going to do a face video. Regardless of how I look, my imperfections as a prisoner of war with a green foot, don't forget that. Right, okay. One thing that's never improved, that is a stark it's stark reality to me of how close we are still, but we're hanging on. Like me surviving in here on a daily basis, is kind of like in semi-biotic or whatever, you know what I mean? With how we as an American society, the good people here, the good folks, because there are, I never asked for any of this shit, because there are, how we're all just hanging right at the edge of death. The stark reality of that I am trying to make very clear to you is what they're doing with the food in Washington, D.C. When I was first in this neighborhood, I did some, let me just speak vaguely. I did some stuff with some stores that people are, I'm speaking to the folks like the general and all his crew and other intelligence agencies elsewheres. All right, we all know what's going on with some of these stores. I don't need to touch on that too much right now. But remember when I was in Maryland, how I was getting chased out by people dressed, and I'm not putting down because I don't need any more shutting down of my accounts by desperately trying to misconstrue things I'm saying. But the Shiite women like that, at these stores at Food Giant in Maryland, like that, you know, all black, and their male partners who are Western dressed, and the constant reporting I was giving of when I was discovering myself how serious these Al-Qaeda cells were that were set up in satellite cities surrounding the border of DC, in Maryland and Virginia. I've been putting these things on my account since before I even left and came back again. But when I first left New York City, I've been putting this on the account. about there's a lot of Al-Qaeda cells here. Hello, hello, hello. All right. So as Ra, Osiris, my family had it, they put me places. Because I was literally a refugee in my own country. Remember the Airbnb? I went to Laurel when I first got here. Went straight to Laurel on July 4th. And what I do, I think it was that day or the next, I hit Texas. I blew up Texas figuratively. Oh yeah, I did. That was cool. I did that. I do really good work. I'm proud of that. There was a purpose for it. And I don't have any regrets. But to have people pretend to this day that this never happened, when I have a green foot, I will no longer tolerate. So I saw for myself places like Laurel and where I ended up always at. To this day, I sometimes still end up going there on the locations. There's a lot of cell activity, white terrorists and Al-Qaeda terrorists, because we know what's up with them. And then, right, so I ended up in Rockville, Maryland. And there was that one day I was at that one metro stop that I think was near it somewhere. It's satellite cities. So I was witness to myself. Whoa. Like I really, literally lived it. There's major Al-Qaeda action going on around here. And they don't like me. And they know who I am. So as much as the White House and the Congress and so on and so forth have made their efforts to cause this smoke and mirrors that this is not real, you're hallucinating all this right now. Heidi who? Heidi what? Whenever I go around a lot of these Somalian, I'm not putting down these people because some of them are Christians, some of them are nice Muslim, but you got to be careful nowadays, especially when you're in Washington, D.C. I'm just being real with you. Okay? It's like being in Iran. You have to be careful of who's not a Hezbollah and who is, all right? I'm just being real with you. In D.C., you do. Right? And so I became really aware of how known I was and how despised I was. So no matter what they did, I knew they were doing that for another reason, which was to silence this and pretend it didn't happen and continue on with their caliphate and invasion of the U.S. and all these other nations. A complete bloodbath, a complete slaughter and bloodbath of little French kids, little Chinese kids, you name it, and their parents. That's what's going on. Okay, and that's why I'm filming this looking the way I do. I don't care really, because I really want this to be heard, and I don't believe it's only just one view. We know it's not. On my Twitter, it was no views for 3 years. But wherever I went, everyone knew who I was. It's not why I do this to get views. When I first came on, I didn't even do a face till I got to Chicago. I was told to do a face. And started to be more personal about this instead of just filming the cats. Okay, so what I've noticed when I was out in these satellite cities, so it's the whole vicinity, it's the whole metro DC area, okay? Which we all know why. I don't want to totally cover the same material again, okay? But the stores have something going on there, the grocery stores. Now, no one expected me to have all this past culinary experience. Half the jobs I worked at, I don't even have on my resume. Ask any chefs, and especially in my age group, they'll tell you why. The restaurant industry, I don't have all of them there. Generally, people are just like me, unless they worked at a restaurant for like 10 years, 5 years, then yeah, it's going to be on the resume. But, and then the restaurants closed down. I had a few, 3, 4. God, I don't want to get sidetracked right now. That closed down. Or they changed their name and their management's gone. The building's there. It's still a restaurant. I mean, all right? So they didn't expect when they came on the scene that I had like all this culinary experience. I've managed, I've ordered, I've inventoried, I've done it all. That's how I you kind of notice how I do that at home. Yeah, I definitely use my skills at home. It is a lifesaver to this day. Yes, I could own a restaurant. Yes, all that above. Okay, let's not get sidetracked here. I don't think that's really in our future, a lot of restaurants and making money off food. The thing I get from my family, my guidance, is to teach the Americans to please be able to take care of themselves at home. Teach them how to cook food. Not go order it and pay for it anymore. Let's get that whole idea right now. Let's give it a little nap, a little rest right now with the going out to eat, because you are now incapable and it is your life on the line. You have to learn how to fry a fucking egg. You have to learn to feed your kids. All right, your life is on the line now. What's going to occur in this country is so drastic, and it already has with the pandemic. I'm not going to start beating this drum. You need to learn how to take care of yourselves better than you are now to live through it. I want to help you do that. That's my guidance, my orders. That's what I do. All right. So one thing I've noticed through the whole DC area that has never improved is whatever they're doing, and here I'm going to use my layman's terms, all right? Whatever they're doing, they're playing in with the food here, and it has never improved. But to me, it's clearly nefarious. It's clearly to do with Al-Qaeda. It's clearly to do with the KKK. It's clearly to do, which is what's scary. And this is why I just didn't care what I looked like when I said this, all right? I want you to hear this, whoever's out there. They're playing with our food in DC. The general, I tell you, I swear on this, the good ones at the Pentagon, there's 60% there, but they can't work. They're like prisoner. But I'm not the only one who knows what's going on. And this is why I'm saying how close we are to have almost all died. Amazon Direct, I noticed it the very first day I shopped there. I noticed it right off because they don't expect me to have the culinary I have. So I really noticed it. Plus I got a little bit of criminal justice, whatever. However I make who I am, I fucking noticed it. Every online retailer for a grocer, every grocer, online and in store, that I have been to, in Washington, D.C. Now, I haven't been to some of the outer neighborhoods, like up beyond in the northern parts of Adams Morgan, but I've been to, we know all the stores I've been to around here within a whole year and how frequent I have been to them in person and online. They have never improved. What they all do, if there was one that didn't end up in this category, I would tell you because it would be significant. No, this is why it's so frightening. Every store I've been into in person, this is in the DC metro area, has either Shiite working or African American, but they're actually Islamists, jihadist gang members working there that, again, know who I am. And so being who I am, I really lived it. And I saw really dangerous behavior coming from them every time in every store I ever shopped at, every time. The black jihadists in DC hate me. I've said that in multiple venues on this account, multiple times. We know that. They're all in the grocery stores. There are also these white nationalists that work in the grocery stores too. Every time, it has yet to improve, and I've been here a year. And when I saw it was happening on Amazon Direct is when I was like, clearly, this is really scary. The white nationalist government in power, along with Al-Qaeda and those folks, before they started having a vie for power, but they're still doing the same things, tactics, are playing with our food in the DC metro area. They're using the stores as a means for other things. So let the general and all these people who are highly more experienced and experts at this than I am, and I'm glad to do it. Let them take it from there, okay? I have my ideas of what they're shipping in and what they're doing at these stores. It is not for food anymore. But I'll tell you, and I know other people, when they hear this, are like, oh my God, I know this too. They're playing with our food here. They're trying to kill us. We are walking a fine line from dying right now. If these people got into too much of a war power role, we would not have any food to eat. How do I know this? Every time, besides the frightening experiences in person, countless reports I could give you of being in the stores and things I have witnessed. Countless. Beyond that, to this day, no improving ever. It's a steady, full engine running op. They are not lightening up. They need the food thing going here. And it's scary. To this day, no matter what store you shop at, online or in person, to this day, you don't know if you're going to go in there and be able to find stew meat. Yes, stew meat. Items as regular and as expected as that, you don't know if they're going to have. What they're doing with the inventory and the ordering is very clear to me. But let me just put it in layman's terms. They're playing serious games. They're hoping people don't realize or recognize it. This was not supposed to be dragging on so long. Remember that. Remember how many invasions they've been trying to pull off. This food op is so fucking criminal and so fucking dangerous. We are this close to not having food in Washington, D.C. Those gang members and those white nationalists at the store, they know about this. They know a lot about this. There's an op going. My guidance from the time I started shopping at Amazon Direct was, oh my God, they don't want you shopping there. And there's been a lot of guidance since then, but I'm just going to leave it at that. Amazon Direct is a big one. Now, all the militaries that are saving our ass in the United States right now know about this because, for one, unfortunately, me living it and me being who I am and going in these stores only helped them. It's more intelligence, dude. Yeah. You know, it wasn't like the only source, but it certainly was, and it is, and it has been, and it is still right now. All right? I don't want to live this anymore. I don't want to be somewhere where we're this close to having our food source cut off completely, and they are still using these stores to do a lot of other things. It's nothing to do with food. Nothing to do with food. This should really scare the shit out of people. This is the capital. Yeah. We're this close to fucking dying here in this country. We won't. The good people will not. The angels aren't going to let that happen to the good Americans or the nice French and the nice French kids and so on and so forth. They're not going to let that happen with a whole bunch of Islamist Al-Qaeda people. You know what? ISIS folks, jihad folks, and the fucking KKK. And the global Third Reich, the Hitler neo-Nazis. But I really want to get this over. If it was not for the Middle Eastern countries, Saudi Arabia and Iran, joining forces with the United States, none of this would have happened ever. None of these other countries would have been reeled into it. It's too late for all of them now. They're involved. They tried and attempted to kill billions of people on the planet. They're holding chemical weapons that they still intend to use. They have biological weapons, one they have used. They have nuclear weapons that they will use. You don't realize what the fuck you have in store for you. That's why I'm trying to tell you to learn to cook an egg at home. Now, but it's really frightening. So if you're wondering why you can't find stew meat one day, all the eggs are gone the next day. Oh my God, the examples are countless and they're horrifying. And it's every store. Online, physical store, or the physical online store, it doesn't matter, mommy. There's something else going on in these stores and it's clear. And the more they can't get that overthrow, the more people do notice. They're like, yo, you got stew meat, man. We don't got that. We're out of that. Their eyes get all shifty. They're all the same. Yes. I just tried to order or plan my menu because I can do that, right? It was so fucking disturbing to me because I can't find anything. I'll have for example, I'll have 5 dishes. Let me just minimize it. 3 dishes I want to make. By the time I'm done, I'm lucky if I can make 1 dish. Because they don't got nothing. And this is every time I shop. And this is no matter where I shop. Right? I wouldn't say this if there was a store that was excluded from this. I would say it because I'd want to know why. Think of all the times I've gone in the stores and I've reported how scared I was in there. And I had to leave or I couldn't never go back again. So this op thing, it had a lot to do with drugs too. But that's pretty much, since I've come around, with my abilities, their drugs are not flowing as easy here as before. But there's a lot more to these grocery stores that should scare the shit out of you. A lot more. And one of them is starving us to death. They're fucking with our food in DC and you should be the fuck scared. Wake the fuck up. God bless America. Say goodbye.